Good day, topside to you all. And we are going to discuss a little bit about Alpine as things off the back of last season are going to be interesting. Franco Colapinto is in the seat firmly for the start of this season. Gasly is definitely going to be there. And Alpine are what's going on? Paul dropping in the super chat already. Smash the like, y'all. Get them super chats in. Like and subscribe. New season, few days away, brother. For real. And honestly, man, there seems as if there's been so much. It's almost like the season can't be in a few days. It just feels like maybe the season should be a few more weeks away, if not maybe a month away, but the season is coming up on us very fast and faster than I even anticipated going into the offseason. But I think a lot of that is due because, unlike some of the other seasons, this new era of regulations has demanded attention, demanded constant feet to the ground of everything that is changing and how teams are adapting and how drivers are feeling and all types of news and or reports coming out about the FIA dealing with power units and dealing with what they're going to do if this is this case and that case. So there's been a lot. So our perception of that gap from last season to this season seems a bit skewed because we've not yet really taken an extreme amount of a break, a decompression from Formula One because so much has had to go on during that time. So, yeah, it's been crazy. Mary Beanie, what's going on, Mary Beanie? Shout out to Mary Beanie in the chat. We got Miss Dino in the chat, K5 White Iverson in the chat, Wildcat, Paul already in here. Nate's was in here earlier getting in. Paul says, super chats for the prize. Let's go. Paul's not playing. He said, I'm going to get that. I'm trying to see who's going to get that first prize of the season. It might be crazy. It might be crazy. But in regards to Alpine, I am not confident in Franco Colapinto. Okay, now I definitely wasn't confident in Jack Do Nothing, and I'm going to reserve the nicknames for right now. Jack Doohan, I wasn't really confident in him. I understand, and I'm pretty sure you understand that even Frank Toss spoke to it, that rookies aren't necessarily getting the fair amount of time that he was accustomed to, that many people were accustomed to. Well, this is a new age of Formula One, okay? And I hate to say it, and I'm not necessarily on board with it, but a lot of these teams are expecting these rookies to come ready-made. If you go to the hobby shop, you got a certain amount of people that don't want what you call an RTR, right? An RTR is ready to ride. It's ready to go. It's right out of the box, put batteries in it, and start driving. Whereas you have other gas models and electric models that require a certain level of assembly before you can enjoy driving that. And a lot of people enjoy that aspect of working with that remote control car, working with that gas model, working with that electric, whether it's an Armor Series or a Creighton or X-Max or whatever else it is out there that you might like to drive. Certain people like the experience of building that model before they drive it. Other people want to go straight from the hobby shop, straight to the house, unbox it, take some pictures, and go drive it. And it seems that a lot of teams would like ready-to-go rookies. So big shout out to Julius in the super chat. Good morning, Wolfpack fam. So with that being said, all while we might have a fair amount of opinions and criticism on how teams are treating new drivers coming in, the same thing is happening in the NFL. Rookie quarterbacks, especially if you're drafted in the first round, they're expecting you to play immediately and have an impact immediately. A lot of those rookies are not having an impact immediately. You're going to have rookies like Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud. Okay, you're going to have rookies like Drake May. You're going to have these type of rookies that have come in and furthermore skew the team's perspective on when they draft a quarterback. Whereas Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, several other quarterbacks had Tom Brady, the GOAT, had a moment to sit behind a seasoned vet to get acclimated, to see how the game really works, for them to be able to see the game slow down without penalty of being hit or sacked on the field, which would then impact their confidence. This is the same dynamic that is happening with rookie drivers coming into the Formula One sport. They're not getting the time to sit and be groomed properly, to have the time to be in a team and a team say, hey, we're going to give you 2 seasons to figure it out while we work with you, to bring that talent and that experience to the forefront. Now it's, you need to come in, get into this car, especially if you're with the Red Bull team, get into this car. You got 5 or 6 races. That's what Alpine did. Okay, Alpine did that to Jack. They did it to Colapinto. Colapinto won that 6-6 battle, and he got to drive the rest of the season. And because of that, he's being able to come in this season and start in that seat. Gasly, to me, is the only driver safe. Colapinto's not even safe. I don't know if any of you've watched Drive to Survive, but Briatore is, he a dog. He is a dog, and I don't mean in a good way. Colapinto apologized that the shit was on him for wrecking the car, and Flavio's like, your shit is my shit when you wrecking up the car. Now it becomes my shit. I got to deal with it, so get the fuck out of here, Ty. I mean, like, damn, gave bro straight like that. So I'm not necessarily confident that Colapinto is going to stay in this seat the entirety of the season. I think that there is a possibility where he indeed is replaced, especially with Flavio there. I think with Flavio in control of those decisions, Colapinto's not safe. Now, something else I will say that just reminded me of how grotesque the spectators of Formula One can be is while Jack was trying to find a way to hold on to not only his dreams, but his ambitions of being a Formula One driver, he had extreme amounts of pressure on himself already, which all drivers do. He had extreme amount of external pressure from the team and Flavio, which drivers do. Just a little bit different nuance dealing with Flavio, which I don't agree with him being in the sport. Given what he did, I think he should still be banned from competing in Formula One, but it is what it is, so we have to deal with these variables. But I do not find it fair, because nothing in life technically is fair, but I'm going to use that. I do not find it fair. I do not find it pleasing. I do not find it of character and integrity for Argentine Colapinto fans to threaten Jack Doohan physically, to send him death threats to the point where it is described that he won't have any limbs, any arms, legs, if he's still in the car by another race. That is absolutely disgusting. I don't give a damn if you don't like a driver in battle with another driver that you support. There is no way, or what are you not doing in your life that you feel compelled to threaten somebody's life, that you feel compelled to threaten somebody physically and not even know them personally, that you feel and have the audacity, the gumption to put that shit out online, that if you don't drive well, we're going to kill you. That is absolutely disgusting. And for Jack to go through that, especially for Lewis Hamilton to have been going through it. And sometimes I look at these drivers and say, well, you got a little taste of what Lewis Hamilton's been dealing with since he's a kid. So how's it feel? It doesn't feel good, right? So when you see it happening to somebody else, stand the fuck up and say something about it. I also find it disgusting that some people don't say anything about it until the shit lands on their front door. So when it does finally land on your front door, before I go ahead and I empathize with you, I'm going to criticize you. How's it feel? When it was happening to the guy over there, you didn't have nothing to say. You was tight-lipped. You wanted to keep your PR up out of it. You wanted to keep your name out of anything in case it didn't go right for you. But now that it's on your front door, you're looking for a hug. You're looking for some protection. Y'all, all drivers should stand up for drivers, especially in that situation. K5 White Iverson says, everyone saw Kimmy and standards were raised. Very true. But I would say that standards were raised before Kimmy. Because honestly, Kimmy's rookie season wasn't that great. It was good. It wasn't great. It was salvaged because it was going poor at one point in time. I honestly think that standards got raised prematurely with Nick DeVries, and then Nick DeVries came in, the standards were raised, and people felt like, okay, like he did good with these customer teams. We're gonna go ahead and put him in the seat, and he failed. And then it was almost similar to gas prices. They raised that shit, and then they never rightfully adjusted according to the market. You raised gas prices because all the storm and everything was crazy, and gas prices went up. But then we realized nothing was really at peril or danger. So once they realized, like, oh, y'all can pay those gas prices, we just keep them up, even though there's no reason to keep the gas price that damn high. We know you'll pay it. And so then you had the other driver who came in. You got Liam came in, failed horribly. But when you have drivers like Oscar Piastri do what they did, when you have drivers like Kimi, Hadjar, things can get skewed. And other teams want that. We want what that team got. And it's just not, to me, it's not realistic on a certain level. Miss Dino says it's crazy and they can't drive down the block straight. Despicable. Indeed. And so it's, to me, it's just a very, very different thing. I honestly, to me, I feel when Nick DeVries came in and there was just this big hype about everything he did in other driving disciplines, and then he did what he did at Williams and did what he did for Aston in the absence of drivers, and he got in there, it was, whoa, damn, this dude's got to be in the sport of Formula One right now. And we got to give him an opportunity to drive right now. I wish it would have been like that with Felipe Drugovich, because he absolutely earned it. But Colapinto, I hope, and I only say this because I believe was good for the ganders, good for the goose. I hope that Flavio tells you at the beginning of the season, you have 6 Grand Prix to prove to me that you are going to hold on to that seat. You have that much time to prove to me. I, for one, was favoring Colapinto. I still think that Colapinto, in some ways, since being with Alpine, showed just a small sliver of edge over Jack Doohan. And I still think that. I do know that Colapinto had his incidents, but so did Jack. I do know that Colapinto had his incidents with Williams before he got to Alpine. And that's fair to think about that, but that's not Alpine's problem. Alpine's problem is, what kind of driver is Colapinto now that he's with us? And is he better than Jack? Now, this is where the pressure is really going to mount on Franco. Because remember what I said, Alpine has, in some ways, conducted an addition by subtraction. By stepping down from being a works team to a customer team, they've made an addition of a better power unit from Mercedes. I understand we have all the fuel situation and the compression situation in play right now. Just kind of tabling that for right now, just speaking in general terms. Paul in the super chat says, when I first started driving gas with 87 cents per gallon, man, for real, a 10 spot would fill the tank, cruise all night long. Man, you ain't lying. You will pull up to Quick Trip. It wasn't no dollar sign. It was a decimal and some cents for gas. Brother, you are not lying. No lies told, bro. But if the pressure will become abundantly, and I'm telling you this especially because we're having Flavio into account for this. If Alpine, by way of Gasly, because Gasly is the standard, right? Gasly is the standard. If Alpine, by way of Gasly, start performing at a certain level and Franco is nowhere in the vicinity, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Unless Flavio has decided to stop the driver of shuffling chairs and say, until we get this program completely moving forward in a progressional pace, I'm not going to sit here and worry about these drivers. As long as he can bring the car home to the garage at the end of the race I'm good with it. Franco start wrecking up cars, he's out of there. If Gasly is performing well in perspective and Franco's not in the vicinity, he's probably going to be out of there. I wouldn't say go back to Jack Doohan at all. I still don't think he's that guy, although I wish him well in another racing discipline. I don't think he's that guy for a Formula One seat, just like I didn't think Antonio Giovinazzi was. He wasn't. Just keeping that. But just like I said that, what's his name, also wasn't, and that's how important he was. Nika, he wasn't at all important when he was with Haas. That was a cluster screw up of an entire situation with Schumacher and Mazepin. That was a cluster F of a situation at Haas. I'm finally glad they got over that at least, and Haas has been moving forward. So I don't know who they would place in that seat, but I can tell you this. If any seat becomes available, and it is at all possible, because we do have to also consider contracts and agreements. If it is at all possible and any seat were to come available, I extremely would be supportive of Felipe getting an opportunity to completely occupy a seat without just being a fill-in. And I really want that opportunity to open up. I'm so serious. It is so disheartening to know that that guy never got a real shot as an F2 champion. Meanwhile, I think we've all watched several drivers that we think are either mediocre or shouldn't have a job shuffle around in the sport of Formula One. I'm just keeping it a buck. Hulk is another driver where if I had an opportunity to get Felipe, Hulk, you be out. You've had your time in Formula One, and I know some people say, oh, if he had this, he had that. He must have never proved to any of the 10 teams at that time that he was in the sport for as long as he was there, that he was the guy that over that guy that I would pay to be the guy. Let's just keep that real. I don't want to keep hearing. I'm gonna hear it, but I'm not gonna even accept it. That if Hulk had what Lewis had and had what Norris had and had what Max had, Hulk's not them. And he must have never proved that he was like them at any point in time in his career. Come on, you're not in the sport that long. And if you're that damn good, nobody's going to try to open. When Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Alonso, Oscar Piastri, George Russell, Carlos Sainz, when these guys become available, top teams are trying to figure out how in the hell, if they don't have a top guy that is completely the top guy, or if they want two top guys, how in the hell can we get that? He's mediocre. Okay? So me, I'm like, yo, you've had your time in Formula One. Felipe, you're up. Lance, you damn sure you've been expired. Your dad just got you up in here. You've been expired. Liam Lawson is another driver. Logan Sargent was the other one. Logan Sargent. I knew it was so bad. It was a traumatic memory to me as an American. Logan Sargent came in and was absolutely horrible. He was absolutely horrible. We've watched that. Crash Tiffy, not good. Crash Tiffy, not good. I mean, his dad with all the money, we got to get rid of these paid babies. We got to get rid of these paid babies. At some point of time, the sport of Formula One needs to have a system set up to where good, talented drivers that may not necessarily have an abundant wealth of family money, we can get them in here. Because at the end of the day, I don't really want to see a bunch of fugazi-ass drivers because their parents have yachts and helicopters. That's not entertaining to me. This is not Yo MTV Cribs. This is none of that. So for me to know what you do behind the scenes, I don't give a damn. That's cool. Live your life. I want to see competition on the track. So if there has to be a program to be set in place where sponsors are pulled to get behind drivers who can actually fucking drive, it needs to be done to save the sport of Formula One. Or else eventually, like a corporation that fails to recruit efficiently, your experienced workers will soon be out of the door or leave for higher paid positions, and your non-experienced workers have not been trained properly, cannot perform the job properly, and therefore your warranties will go up, your revenue will go down, and your business will be out on the ground as soon as possible. Formula One needs to figure that out, because seeing drivers like Oscar Piastri was damn sure refreshing. Seeing drivers like Hadjar, refreshing. Seeing potential as young as Kimi Antonelli went through his growing pains and then finally kind of got his way out of it. We saw Kimi Antonelli cry on camera. He was crying. As an emotional kid his age is allowed to. I was not a crier, but he was allowed to. But the point was, he was under such an extreme amount of pressure as a kid in a big man sport of Formula One. He cried on TV. And still he picked it up and gathered it because he has the tools to become a very good, successful driver. I'm not saying great right now. To Oliver Bearman, as much as we can go back and look at his placement in F2, yeah, he wasn't the best. I think he was 7th, maybe in championship standard F2, but I'm not being exact. But Oliver Bearman at Haas, where people are like, damn, bro, it sucks for you to be at Haas. I think we all can say, Bearman still good given what he had. Right? I think we can say that. I think most of us can say, yeah, he's still good given what he's had. Bortoleto? Yes. I think we can still say, I want to see him with better machinery. I told you all several years ago, I told you all like 3 years ago, this was going to happen. This was coming. A regime and an era of new rookie drivers were going to flood into Formula One. And it happened last season. We're watching in real time the turnover of the sport. And that is refreshing when we have drivers that we can look and say, damn, I don't know who I want to back, to the point where I don't care who I back. I just want to see a good race. So I'm just keeping that 100%. So drivers like Lance Stroll, boo. Drivers like Antonelli, boo. Drivers like Latifi, boo. Drivers like Nikita Mazepin, boo. Drivers like Nick DeVries is unfortunate, I don't know if I should boo you, but you kind of shit the bed. You wet the bed a little bit, bro. I'm just keeping it real. Drivers like Jack Doohan, hey, maybe you need a little bit more time to do better, but you still wasn't the greatest. Drivers like Colapinto, it soon will be told. This season, he's going to be firmly judged and measured, for sure. He's not escaping that, at least from me. Not at all. I'm just waiting to see. Liam Lawson, you are going to be firmly measured and judged this season as well. You ain't escaping that from me. Not at all. Not one damn bit. Albon, bro, your name is coming up on the list. Your name is coming up on the list. Last season was a bit disappointing for you to be the elder statesman in seniority for Williams and to still see kind of how things panned out for you. Albon, I'm looking for you this season. I'm looking to see what you're going to do in comparison to Carlos Sainz. Because Carlos is, to me, I favorite Carlos's ability to analyze the race while in it, his ability to adapt, his ability to work with the team in conjunction to try to find nuggets of performance. Carlos is that guy. He's a good driver. There's only one GOAT right now, living, breathing, and competing, and that is Lewis Hamilton. And I will have my own Lewis Hamilton video because I have some things to go over in reference to Lewis. But this is the year where if Ferrari can actually develop a good car, things have to be fairly done. If Ferrari develop a good car and Charles does what he does and Lewis does what he does, Ferrari should be up there. Ferrari should be on our wall, our top 3 wall. Ferrari should be here. And I'm looking for Ferrari to be there by the 3rd race of the season. 3rd race of the season, I want them firmly looking as if they're going to be a top 3 team throughout 2026. So we will see. But Colapinto is on the chopping block. So we'll see what happens with Colapinto. Big shout out to Miss Dino Paul pulling up, putting his name in that hat for the first giveaway, the first week of Formula One. Wildcat up in here. Mary Beanie, Julius up in here. Whereas K5 White Iverson is in here. And don't forget, this is going to be our first finale lap coming up for the race. So, be here post-race, you be right here. Qualifying, you be right here. We're going to be qualifying it up, post-racing it up. We're going to have a good time this season. So, definitely a lot of things still going on with me. We're going to try to manage, keep all those things firmly floating. So, I will see you all on the next one. Peace and love. Make sure y'all stay happy, healthy. And if people are down on you becoming a better you, guess what I got to say to that? If people down on you becoming a better you didn't need them to begin with. You didn't need those people in your life to begin with. I'm just keeping it all the way 100 with you. Don't keep negative people around you. Don't keep people around you that don't necessarily believe in you. Cling to people that have like-minded direction. Big shout out to Paul. Smash that like button, please. All right? Okay, so we're out of here. Peace and love. Y'all take it easy.